What's going on YouTube? It's the Green Shiz here. Something I haven't done in a little while was a reaction video. I've done them quite a handful of times. It's been a little while though. My boy, Strictly Sealed here, who I've been following for a while, huge, insane vintage collection of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has some Pokemon, but it's primarily Yu-Gi-Oh! Insane collection though. Highly recommend you go check out his channel. He just posted a video, PSA, BGS, CGC. Which company should you grade with? I have not watched this video. So this is going to be a live react, basically, video to this. And the reason I'm doing that is because, as a Pokemon collector, this is home plate. Like, let's sit down and get into these three grading companies. And I kind of want to see from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Side what his overall opinion is. So let's jump right into this video by Strictly Sealed, and I'll have his videos, his page linked down below in the description.
With the rise of new grading companies, everybody's asking, is PSA still the best? Today, we're going to be looking at the top 3 companies that are in the game right now for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and we're going to see which one stands at the very top. Let's get into it.
Let's go. Love the intro. Love it. Very clean.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to
Off the rip, would have liked to have seen Yu-Gi-Oh! In all 3 slabs just to kind of get a fuzzy feeling of which is the best. We'll
my YouTube channel. Before we start, I'm going to tell you what I am not going to do. And that is basically judge how accurate they grade. Everybody has their opinions on how much mess ups, PSA has, 4 certs, 6 certs, whatever. I'm not gonna really dive into that. What I'm gonna tell you is the overall experience, the labels, the slabs, and just how the card is protected overall. So the first thing that we have to cover is the case, obviously, and this does not include the label. The label will have its own section. We're gonna start with,
I hope he gives them grades and we see a final grade. That already would be pretty dope. And I'm glad it's not including their grading scale. That's cool.
the new player in the game, CGC. I want to tell you guys right off the bat that when I first got this card in,
new player in the game. They've been around 2 years this July though. They're newish. They're the newest.
And I held the case, I was pretty blown away to
and currently reviewing an old label. It's the solid blue and it's off-centered, which was fixed.
To be honest with you, this thing feels super premium. Like, compared to the other two, I honestly think that this has the best feeling out there. When you hold it in your hand, you kind of, it's not as brick like as this one. It's not,
BGS is a brick,
as industrial, but it's also not as flimsy as the PSA one, if that
Let me tell you now, this dude is a PSA collector.
makes sense. Like, I really feel like if I squeeze hard enough, I'm gonna break this. With this one, I don't feel that at all. This feels extremely rugged. Like, listen to this, and then you can feel just the difference in the thickness of the plastic, the quality of it. I just think that this feels
That Blastoise looks hella clean with that blue label though.
amazing. And this honestly should be what it's all about, because CGC has been in the game for a lot longer than these companies when it comes to just grading things. They've been grading comic books for a long time. They are the major player when it comes to key issues. So when they started doing graded Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards, I was extremely excited because they're gonna bring all that they've learned in the other industry to this market here. And it really shows with this case. Honestly, this feels extremely nice in the hand, and I like this one.
How much they pay you, bro? How much they pay you? No.
more than the other two by far. One last thing I want to mention about the CGC case is the amazing clarity. I'm not sure what they're doing, like what type of acrylic they're using here, but it's like the card doesn't even have a case on top of it. I guess when we're looking at these cases, displayability should be a big factor when it comes to these, and in my opinion, I think that this one displays the best out of all of them as well. So not only does it feel the best, I think that the plastic or acrylic that they use here is like 10 times better than any of these two right here. That is the case for CGC.
Like I said, Omar, Strictly Sealed, has an insane PSA collection. Personally, watching his videos, I haven't seen him holding CGC slabs yet. 10 times better.
Let's move on to the next grading company, which is PSA. PSA cases are the one that most people recognize. Like when you look online on Alibaba and all of those, they're usually selling these plastic cases.
And he's got one of the ones where the thing is just loose as a goose in there. It's not held very well.
I'm honestly not really a fan. This is not even including all the iterations that PSA did when it comes to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, This is an older case, and you can tell that it doesn't fit the card.
4Xert is an older case, which is not an older case for Pokemon usually.
Properly. But I can say for all the iterations, in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, it really doesn't hold up against CGC. Like, CGC truly feels like it's twice or three times the premium.
I'm actually shocked. That's crazy.
That this
literally
does. Even when my wife held this one, she was like, wow, like this feels amazing in the hand. I really can't say the same about PSA. With that being said, it does have the second highest clarity.
I should preface, I'm shocked because of his collection and me never seeing him hold a CGC slab. Not shocked because I'm the biggest PSA fanboy in the world at all. I've liked CGC, PSA, and some BGS slabs, but wow. If you had the chance to watch a lot of his videos and then him saying this, it's flabbergasting.
So in terms of the overall displayability, I could say that CGC is number 1, PSA is number 2, and then BGS is number 3. In terms of flimsiness, like I said, man, I really feel like if I squeeze this hard enough, I can break it. That really...
I was hoping for a 1 to 5 scale. That would have been dope.
Says something about the
he sent that boy
overall like quality of the case.
He broke it. In all my days, I've been cracking slabs wrong the whole time. I should have just bent them in half with my hands. Him cracking that slab was 30 times cleaner than the slab I cracked to get my PSA 6 first edition Charizard out. That was beautiful. No editing needed. Labels perfect condition.
And I just don't like this fogginess. Like when
the clown noises perfect.
You look at this, even if you're not holding a card,
I seriously cannot believe that what I'm watching.
At least it gives you the impression that you're holding the card, if that makes sense. It just feels really nice. So yeah, I mean, in terms of cases, I think that this is the worst one out of all three of them.
Damn.
I just don't like this one at all. So let's move on to BGS. Now BGS, as I was saying, it is the most...
I cannot wait to read these comments. Holy cow.
Industrial. Like this really feels like it protects your card. But that's not the only feature about it. It actually has the card encased in a sleeve that is sealed shut. That's a really nice feature because you're not going to worry about the card rattling. You're not going to worry about the card getting clipped at the top. These have a bad case of getting stuck at the top here and then getting literally dented. I've seen this happen multiple times. It actually happened to one of my LOB Blue Eyes first editions PSA 10. When it got stuck, man, like
we would be fighting.
I was like, I had originally like 5 LOB Blue Eyes and one of them got damaged because it got stuck at the top. I'll never forget that. So I have a lot of trust issues. Whenever you ship this case, I highly recommend you tap the card down so that it does not come close to the top of this thing, because I've seen it get stuck in all of them. Like this iteration of the case, also the one with like little to no space, I've also seen that get stuck at the top, which is kind of unbelievable if you think about it. Like the fact that a card can get damaged inside of a case that's supposed to.
When I saw that damage, and I've seen it, I always thought, and maybe I'm wrong, it's when they put the card in the slab and they go to hit it and sonic weld it. I thought that's when it saw that damage. I didn't think it was from it sliding up and getting stuck, because it could easily slide down and also get stuck.
To protect
if that's
it,
the case.
It's kind of mind-boggling. Yeah, like as I was saying, this one has the sleeve that kind of holds the card, and
that's the nicest feature.
It really does protect it the most. I feel the most safe with this case. There's no denying that.
This thing could be replacing cannons, and it would survive.
Even if I have to sacrifice on clarity. If
Cannonball, sorry.
Anybody has tried taking photos of BGS cases, you know just how much of a nightmare it is. They just don't look good. When my wife was photographing stuff for my listings, she was like, dude, I can't get a good picture of this because, like, number one, there's so many layers on top of the card that it gets foggy. And then number two, the type of acrylic that they use is not as nice. But number three, the sleeve.
That's why all my eBay listings look freaking amazing on my phone.
Is not super flat. So when you tilt it in the light, there's ripples there, right? And I think that is kind of a deterring factor, and I can understand why people don't like this. So in terms of protection, I would say that this is number one, this is number two, and then this is number three. And honestly, I really don't like these cases. It's kind of terrible how they're allowed to get away with something like this.
Damn.
So that's the cases. Let's move on to the label. The first one that I want to start
I wish he had the new one.
with is CGC. When it comes to making labels, business cards, whatever it is, even websites, I always like to go with white because, in my opinion, I think that it's the easiest on the eyes. This definitely applies here. I definitely think that the white background here looks a lot better than the blue. I even think that the gold one looks better than the blue. This is the same layout that they took from their comic books. I was never a fan of it, but I understand why they chose it. I really wish that they would actually flip this so that they make the background white while they make the label here blue, for example. I think that that would look much better, but it is what it is. I think that in terms of aesthetic,
they do have the white to blue transitions now, which helps a little bit. And the numbers centered. The grade.
Just the colors, this is the worst one out of the three. Next
Ouch.
up would be the PSA one. Although I like the white background, I just don't like the way that it's laid out. I just think that
My biggest gripe is the red. I don't know. Something about it. I love PSA. I have tons of PSA slabs, but
it's a little too messy, in my opinion. I think that the BGS one is the best looking label. The gold, it really works. Like usually, like I said, I'm a fan of white backgrounds.
Another issue I have with these, like, really, you don't have enough space to write Ultimate Rare. Like, you typed out the full, Dark Arm Dragon. It took up that much space. You couldn't even put the word ultimate. You just simplify all the letters. UR, ultra rare. You couldn't put ultra.r or something like. Same with PSA.
The gold here really works. The problem is once you go below gold, it looks like garbage. So unless you're getting a 9.5, you're pretty much screwed. So I definitely recommend you stick to 9.5s and gem mints for BGS. With PSA, it's standard all the way. With CGC, I think it's standard all the way as well. Now, in terms of the text, this is where it's kind of flipped around. I
wish it was comparing the same card on all three to get a really good idea.
actually think BGS has the best text layout. Number one, it's centered. There's no reason that it should all be pushed to the left like this. Like, this is not an essay. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do it here either.
He said BGS. That's CGC then.
I think the centered looks the best. Again, they copied this right out of their CGC comic books. In my opinion, I think that this is the best looking type format. I like the way that they put the card name in bold, the game in bold, and then all the other details in non-bold. While in here, I mean, you really can't even tell what this is. Like, you can shrink the font so that you can fit the whole card in there. Like, this is the exact same label that you're gonna see in 2002, and it's just not acceptable nowadays. And I think that they really have to update these. I think the only reason that they haven't is because they don't want the new labels to look different than the...
It's a sports card grading company that started doing trading cards because enough people cried about it. So we're small fish in the pond compared to sports. We ain't getting love from PSA right now.
The original ones. And I understand their thought process, but I think that there is some ways that you can work around that. That's a good thing about starting new, is that you don't really make the same mistakes as these guys, right? It's not as corporatized or bureaucratized when it comes to like making decisions. You can make them on the fly because, again, it's a smaller branch, it's a smaller company. So that's my overall thoughts on the slabs in general. But now we're gonna get to the thing that, in my opinion, makes it an easy choice of which company I'm going to choose. And that is the user experience. The user experience for all of these companies is drastically different. I want to address the BGS one first. This category, in my opinion, is where BGS really falls behind when it comes to these other companies. First off, their website is archaic to be not...
Like, everybody and their brother has said this about BGS, but they continue down the path of can't teach an old dog new tricks. VGA, the video game grading company, is similar. Do better.
Nice garbage, if you want to be blunt. Like, dude, you need an account to look up the pop report. I can't just type it into Google and get it. It's just kind of obnoxious. I can't stand this website, and this is why I don't grade with these guys. And that's just their website. Man, like, having an issue with BGS is like a huge nightmare. Instead of like these other companies that reply to you in 1 or 2 days, these guys take weeks. Sometimes you don't even get a reply. You have to kind of threaten them. You have to get a charge back. I have just had bad experiences with BGS. I could not recommend them to anybody, honestly. I love already graded cards by them, but I will never send them a single card. I will never pay them a...
Me and you are on the exact same page, brother. Same page.
Dime of my money until they fix their website. It is kind of unbelievable that in 2022, if you want to sub a card like this, you have to sub it via...
Like, that thing screams PDF. Type it in and just, like, I don't know, something, dude. You could pay a programmer 50 grand, get this thing rolling. Let's go.
Paper and sending it in the mail. And this is why I think that I can definitely see this company getting eclipsed, because they are just sitting on their ass, not doing anything or competing with the competition. All right, so yeah, rant is over on that. Next up is PSA. PSA is my gold standard when it comes to customer service, when it comes to just overall execution of your brand. I really love the way that PSA works. Okay, I like the fact that they don't grade counterfeit cards. I like the...
No comment. There's just a bunch of stuff about them grading the faked first edition stamp cards, but everybody does it, right? Haven't seen a CGC slab one with one yet, but
the fact that they don't grade unauthorized cards. I know people don't like that, but to me, I think that this is very important to protect the integrity of the brand, to protect the integrity of the slab itself. If they just graded anything, that is a disservice to, number one, the collector, and number two, the Yu-Gi-Oh brand itself. If they even grade an unauthentic card, they will pay you out. Even the Blue Eyes White Dragon that they damaged inside of their case, they paid me out for. When they graded a bunch of silver stamps, they literally, along with Gezi TC...
I don't know if he's had this much experience with CGC, so it'll be interesting to hear all of those takes. So what he was basically just going through all of his personal experiences with PSA, which is a bunch of different issues he's had that have gotten resolved, it seems. So that's good.
went and contacted all of the owners that have this, and they told them that we will pay you for it so that we can take it off and delist it. That, in my opinion, is what a real company does. These two, they will grade anything. You send them anything, you give them your money, they will grade it. They don't care.
What? I don't know. I got a BGS 100%. CGC will grade authentic cards or really cool promotional cards. They don't even grade Bandai Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's a different card size. They just started grading tops for Pokemon in the last month. They only grade the same card stock size Pokemon cards. They don't grade Top Sun even. I don't know. That's BGS and CGC are on completely different hemispheres.
And I don't really like that. I think that kind of devalues the slab, that devalues the authentication, if that makes sense. And
I don't know. Some of the stuff CGC's done with like the Protostoys, that type of authentication, they were the ones trusted to grade like the Charizard base set 2 non-hollow, which we've only seen one in the world. They were able to do like a 4-page like report on it. Like that stuff is really dope.
Although PSA has a piece of crap garbage Alibaba case, I will still continue to use PSA because at least their service is something that they are proud of. Now, I understand, and I'm not trying to be oblivious or try to ignore the fact that
yeah, I guess unfortunately he hasn't had much experience with CGC. I've not had many customer services experience myself with CGC, but I've, like all companies, I've heard horror stories at both, like PSA not justifying some of their guarantees on some of their grades. So that being one of the big ticket items, I don't know.
PSA also retains the most amount of value. And in my opinion, that's because the biggest whales have PSA cards. Like if you want to think about it logically, if I'm a collector, right, and I've collected 10 PSA 10s, and I want to buy the next ultimate rare in, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, am I randomly going to just ditch all of the PSA 10s I just spent money on to go buy BGS or CGC? That's highly unlikely. I don't think many people will do that. And this is why some of the biggest money is behind PSA, is because they've already bought into PSA. So that's the selling point, in my opinion. That is their bread and butter, if that makes sense, for why a lot of the high-end collectors choose to grade with PSA and not the other ones. I think the secondary market can change if the new wave of collectors start adopting these other companies. So yeah, that's my thoughts overall on these. If I was
the personal experience a little bit deeper, I wish it got into kind of submitting cards and checking pop reports on PSA and CGC, like he did with BGS. There is a lot of difference between those two companies, and yeah, CGC takes the cake on both of those.
If I was to choose just protection, I would definitely go with BGS.
It's clean.
If I was to choose displayability, I would go with CGC. I really hope that CGC takes off in the Yu-Gi-Oh world because I would love to get my stuff graded with them. Let me.
This video is posted today, so I don't know if it was recorded a while ago. I know he posts about a video a week, takes some editing, but they are grading Yu-Gi-Oh cards now.
Know what you guys think in terms of grading. Would you rather grade with PSA and why, CGC and why, and BGS and why? Check out the links in the description below if you want to help me keep doing this.
Just to give my answer to that question, it depends on the card. Like he said, if you're chasing a 9 set or a 10 set and you got all PSA slabs, of course I'll probably grade if I have that card with PSA chasing that set. But if I'm just submitting, I have a random card, I want to flip it, it's basically going to go to the company where I think it's going to achieve the best grade and get me the most money. And that could be like it's going to be CGC or PSA most of the time because I do not want to submit something via paper. So it's basically going to, is it a chance at a PSA 10? If there's a chance at a PSA 10, usually I will submit the PSA. Otherwise, I think there's a better chance at getting a 9. Like if I'm just chasing a 9, better odds of getting that 9 at CGC with the way they are grading cards, my opinion. So there's the answer there. Let this roll
Thanks
out.
for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next one.
Great video, man. Honestly, this I really wish we did like a 1 to 5 scale, or you did a 1 to 5 scale kind of grading, assigning a grade, and then picking one with the highest number. That would have been pretty cool to see. Definitely a YouTube-esque video, but awesome nonetheless. Really love your content if you ever watch this, but definitely highly recommend Strictly Sealed. We'll be posting his info down below in the description. Climbing like crazy. Probably a month ago he had 4,000, 5,000 subscribers, and now here he is at 10,000. Dude's a unit. Like I said, a video a week, but high quality, 4K. Does a really good job. So I want to read some of these just to see. I bought some CGC slabs to crack from my binder. I was blown away by how nice the slab felt in the hand. I hope CGC becomes more popular in the future. Sort by top comments. Yeah, so it was already. It can only be a good thing for collecting world. There are multiple top blah blah blah. CGC is honestly extremely undervalued in Yu-Gi-Oh! Their grading is the harshest between those 3 companies. Oh boy. I have a Ghost Rare First Ed Odin. I'm pretty sure it graded not at a 10 or a 9 at worst, but I'm excited to submit the PSA because of what you mentioned. The Alibaba cases I love. No. Love CGC the most. Just wish the label could be a little more neutral in color. Yeah, I guess, yeah. There's blue on there still. Awesome. No, great. I'm going to definitely read through a bunch of those probably out of my own interest. So appreciate you guys stopping in. Have a good one. Peace.